The stars looked quiet from the bridge of the Endeavor. Captain Aaron Holt stood by the glass window, watching the green planet below spin like a giant emerald wrapped in clouds. This was Valoria, an untouched world beyond the known border of human space. The readings showed signs of intelligent life, cities built from living plants, faint radio signals, and warm energy signatures. But no one knew what waited down there. "Landing team ready, sir," said Lieutenant Vega. "Gravity's heavy, atmosphere stable. No known weapons or threats." Holt nodded. "Let's meet our new neighbors then." The shuttle cut through the clouds, engines roaring as they descended into a thick forest of trees as tall as towers. Every leaf shimmered in bright colors, and strange birds sang deep musical notes. The planet seemed alive, almost breathing. The humans sat down near what looked like a settlement of large pods grown from vines. When the team stepped outside, their boots sank slightly into soft moss. Holt lifted his scanner. Life signs, everywhere, but no movement. Vega frowned. "Maybe they're hiding?" Before anyone could answer, the vines around the pods slowly opened, revealing figures inside. Dozens of Valorians floated gently in hoverpods, their skin shining like pearl and their bodies large and round. They looked soft, almost fragile, with wide golden eyes that watched the humans carefully. None of them moved, not even a single step. Then one pod drifted forward. It carried a woman taller and larger than any human, her limbs long but weak. She seemed frightened yet curious. Her pod stopped several meters away, humming softly. Captain Holt took a slow step forward and placed his hand on his chest, a friendly gesture humans used for peace. "We come in peace," he said calmly through the translator device. "We wish to learn, to share," the Valorians murmured in their strange musical language. The woman in the front trembled. Her voice came through the translator, soft and full of fear. "Please, don't hurt me, human. I can't walk." The humans froze. Vega glanced at the captain in confusion. Holt lowered his weapon slowly. "We don't want to hurt anyone," he said gently. "You're safe." But the woman's wide eyes still showed panic. Her pod wobbled as she tried to move it backward. The effort seemed to exhaust her. Holt realized that she wasn't pretending. She truly couldn't walk. Her legs, though long, seemed unused, almost forgotten. The translator identified her name as Lura. She was a member of Valoria's upper council, the leaders who guided her people through thought and speech rather than action. Movement, it seemed, was seen as unnecessary, maybe even shameful. Holt noticed the others watching him. None came closer, none spoke. Only silence and the soft hum of pods filled the air. He decided to show something no alien could expect from a human soldier: kindness. Removing his helmet, he knelt down on one knee. The move startled his team. It also made Lura gasp. No one had ever bowed before her. Humans were supposed to be conquerors, not humble visitors. "I'm Aaron," he said softly. "Captain Aaron Holt. We don't harm. We help." The translator carried his words in melodic tones. Lura blinked, unsure what to make of him. Her golden eyes softened slightly, though fear still lingered. "You move so easily," she said. "Doesn't it hurt? Doesn't gravity make you tired?" Holt smiled faintly. "It can, but we train for it. Our bodies grow stronger from struggle." "Stronger from struggle?" She seemed puzzled, almost offended by the idea. "Why would one wish for pain?" "Because it teaches us to live," Holt replied. "To walk, to build, to explore. That's how we learn who we are." Lura looked down at her frail legs. The hoverpod's lights glowed softly under her weight. Around her, the other Valorians whispered. Their faces showed unease, some pity, some confusion. Holt turned his gaze toward the settlement. Everything here was still. The Valorians didn't work, didn't move. They simply existed. Their society had reached perfect comfort, yet it felt strangely empty. He wondered how long they had been this way. How long since one of them had taken a real step? That evening, Holt and his crew set up camp near the settlement. The Valorians kept their distance but watched with wide, fascinated eyes as humans carried heavy crates, cooked food over heat, and laughed together. To them, movement looked almost magical. Laura's pod floated nearby. She seemed torn between fear and curiosity. Holt walked up slowly, holding a small glass of clear water. "Would you like to try this?" he asked. She stared at it. "What is it?" "Water," he said. "Pure. Life's most common gift." She hesitated, then guided her pod closer and sipped carefully. The taste surprised her. Cool, light, refreshing. For a moment, a faint smile crossed her face. "You share with strangers," she said softly. "Even when you gain nothing?" "We gain understanding," Holt replied. "That's enough." Her eyes lowered. "You are different from what our elders told us. They said humans destroy what they don't understand." Holt shook his head. "Sometimes fear makes people wrong. We're not perfect, but we try to do better." Laura was silent. The word try echoed in her mind. Valorians never tried anything. They simply existed, floating through life without struggle. The idea of trying, of failing and growing, was new and frightening. Yet something about Holt's calm eyes told her there was truth in it. As night fell, 2 moons rose over Valoria, lighting the forest in silver light. The humans built a small fire, and the warm glow drew Laura closer again. She watched as the flames danced. "What is this light that moves so wildly?" she asked. "It's fire," Holt said. "It burns, but it also gives warmth. Like life, it can destroy or protect depending on how you use it." Laura stared at the flames, entranced. She had never seen anything so alive. Her pod hummed softly as she drifted nearer. The warmth touched her skin. For the first time, she didn't feel afraid of movement. Holt saw her trembling hands resting on the edge of the pod. "You can step out if you want," he said gently. "I'll catch you." Her eyes widened. "Step out? I cannot, my legs—" "They can remember," he said. "They just need time." The moment hung in silence. Then slowly the pod's lights dimmed as she unlocked its seal. The shell opened and cool air brushed against her skin. Her legs trembled, weak and unused. Holt held out his hand. Laura looked at it for a long time. Then, with effort, she placed her hand in his. Her foot touched the mossy ground. It sank softly, the weight foreign to her body. She gasped, not from pain, but from shock. Her knees bent and Holt caught her before she fell. "It's all right," he said. "That's what learning feels like." She stared at him, breathing heavily. "It feels strange. Heavy." He smiled. "That's gravity saying, 'Welcome back to the ground.'" Laura laughed softly for the first time. The sound was awkward, like a melody long forgotten. Around them, the other Valorians whispered, stunned that one of their own had left her pod. In that single step, something ancient and quiet inside her world began to move again. As dawn approached, Holt looked at Laura standing near her pod, legs shaking but eyes bright. She no longer looked like a helpless being. She looked curious, alive. For the first time in her life, she had touched the ground, and it changed something deep inside her. Holt turned toward his team. "Record this moment," he said quietly. "This is what first contact is truly about." Above them, the suns of Valoria rose, shining over a world that had just taken its first step toward change. The sun rose slowly over Valoria, bathing the forest in golden light. Dew sparkled on the leaves and the hum of life grew louder. Captain Aaron Holt watched from the camp as Laura stood a few meters from her pod. Her legs shook and her eyes were wide, but she was standing on her own. It was a small victory, but to Holt, it was everything. "Good morning," he said softly, walking toward her. "Ready to try again today?" She nodded, hesitating slightly. I think I am, but I'm afraid." "Fear is natural," Holt replied. But moving forward is stronger than staying still. Her pod hummed softly behind her as if watching her struggle. Other Valorians floated in their pods, whispering among themselves. They had never seen one of their own leave a pod willingly, let alone attempt to walk. Holt smiled gently and extended his hand. "Shall we start?" Lura took a deep breath and placed her hand in his. She lifted her right leg, then the left. The ground felt strange beneath her feet. Gravity pressed down, muscles protested, but she did not fall. Holt caught her balance whenever she wavered. "Slowly," he said. "Each step is progress." She managed 10 shaky steps, then paused, panting. Her golden eyes sparkled with something new. Hope. "You're doing very well," Holt said, kneeling so she wouldn't feel small. "You can rest, but don't stop." Over the next few days, Holt and his team worked with Lura every morning. They built a simple training area with soft moss, small obstacles, and balance poles. Holt taught her to lift her legs correctly, to trust her muscles, and most importantly, to believe she could walk. Lura was clumsy at first. She stumbled, her legs buckling under her weight. Sometimes she fell on the moss, leaving deep impressions in the soft ground. But each time Holt helped her stand again. "You see," Holt said one afternoon, "falling is not failing. Failing is refusing to try again." For Lura, this idea was revolutionary. Valorians had lived for centuries without moving beyond their pods. Action had always been unnecessary. And yet here was a human, patient and calm, showing her that struggle could be beautiful. Other Valorians began to gather around, curious and cautious. They watched as Lura stood taller with each day, her confidence growing. One elder spoke through the translator. "Sheeta moves. Why does she desire this? It is unnatural." Holt shook his head. "It is not unnatural, it is life. Life is meant to grow, to change, to try new things." The elder seemed puzzled but intrigued. Lura's steps were small, but they were defiant in the best way. Not defiant toward her people, but toward her own fear. One evening, a sudden storm swept across the forest. Dark clouds rolled in and strong winds rattled the trees. The humans' camp was secure, but one of the smaller Valorian pods was caught in the downpour. Its occupant could not control the hover system fast enough to avoid being tossed into the river. Holt saw it immediately. "We have to help her," he shouted. Lura froze for a moment, looking at the rushing water. Her instinct was to retreat, but then she remembered Holt's words. Each step is progress. She ran, her legs trembling but moving toward the river. The other Valorians gasped. None had ever seen her run. Holt followed closely. Lura reached the pod just in time. Using her strength and balance, she guided it to shore. She pulled it out of the water, her hands shaking but her face glowing with determination. When the storm subsided, the Valorians gathered around, whispering in awe. Lura's bravery had saved one of their own. For the first time, they saw that movement and action were not weakness but a form of courage. Holt placed a hand on her shoulder. "You see? Walking is more than just steps. It can save lives, inspire others, and change the world around you." Lura nodded, tears in her eyes. I never imagined this. My body, my legs, they can do so much." Over the next few weeks, Lura's transformation continued. She learned to walk longer distances, climb small hills, and even carry light loads. Her confidence grew and she laughed more freely. She began teaching herself small exercises, showing curiosity and joy. Other Valorians started leaving their pods as well, encouraged by Lura's example. A few tried to move, though cautiously. One by one, they discovered muscles they had forgotten, and the joy of physical action. Holt watched, quietly proud. Humanity's greatest gift, he realized, was not technology or power. It was the ability to inspire courage and hope. One morning, the human team prepared to leave Valoria. They had shared knowledge, helped heal injuries, and built trust with the Valorians. Holt found Lura waiting at the edge of the forest. She stood tall now, her legs strong, her eyes shining with pride. "I can walk," she said, a smile breaking across her face. "I helped others too." "You did," Holt said warmly. "You took the first step and now you're helping your people take theirs." The elder approached. "Captain Holt, you have shown us a truth we never knew. Action is not shame. Struggle is not failure. You have changed our world." Holt bowed slightly. "It was not just me." Lura showed the courage to step forward. "She changed her world herself." The elder nodded. "Yes, she did." As the humans boarded the Endeavor, Lura waved, her golden eyes full of gratitude. Behind her, Valorians practiced walking, helping each other, and discovering movement for the first time in centuries. Holt looked at the green world below and smiled. He realized that in all of human space, there was no greater victory than helping someone rise to their potential. Lura stepped forward once more, testing her balance, her legs strong and steady. She looked at the humans and whispered softly, "Thank you for showing me the ground beneath my feet." Holt nodded, touched. "Keep walking, Lura, keep inspiring. That is the best legacy anyone can leave." As the Endeavor lifted off, the forest glowed with new life. Valoria had changed. One step at a time, courage, hope, and humanity had touched an entire species. Lura's first step had sparked a transformation, and the echoes of that moment would carry for generations. In the vastness of space, Captain Holt smiled quietly. Humanity had always been capable of great exploration, but this, helping another being find their own strength, was the finest adventure of all.